Broadcasting from the 72nd floor of First Canadian Place in the heart of Toronto's financial district, this is #Finance, the podcast that profiles innovative entrepreneurs and thought leaders operating in the public markets. Presented to you by the CSE, the Exchange for Entrepreneurs.
Hi, it's Phil here from the CSE. I'm here today with Marilyn Schaffer, who is the CEO, founder, and board of director of XTM Inc. Welcome.
Thank you, Phil. Good to be here.
Today is a wonderful day for you. So tell us about maybe what happened today.
Well, today we got to ring the bell at the CSE. XTM officially went public. So super important day for us, for our team. A day where it feels fulfilling. It feels like an opportunity to have third-party value and to deliver value to others other than our internal team. Very exciting day.
And your ticker symbol is?
PAID, P-A-I-D.
So that's CSE PAID. So get paid and, enjoy yourself. And, I'm actually very happy to do this with you today because we met a few months ago, and respectively, I personally have a bit of experience with fintech, so we can talk fintech today. So that's going to be extremely interesting. So tell me a bit about yourself and how you got to this space per se.
Okay, sure. I'll try not to make it too long. I grew up through the sales and marketing channels. Always been an entrepreneur, and I started an agency when I was super young and was fortunate enough to be able to sell it.
That's a marketing agency? Oh, wow. Okay.
PR marketing agency in 2001.
Okay.
Went from Liberty Village to King University, worked for an Omnicom agency, and became their VP of their global technology practice for a period of time, and then did my earnout. And like any entrepreneur, it was like miserable.
Oh, gosh.
But I made it. I made my targets. And then when I left, I took a year off, and then I thought, you know what, I can do this again. I'm going to start another. And I started XTM. And the idea was I always wanted to market, because I knew we were really good at market something that we had control over. So I was always looking for products or opportunities that we could own. And I got introduced into the payment space through the launch of the Angry Birds Rovio card.
Oh, I didn't even know there was such a thing.
There was such a thing.
Angry Birds was like one of the best-selling games.
I know.
That's an awesome game.
I know. I think that was 2014, 15. And, through one road and another, I got into a position where I had an opportunity to really catapult ourselves into the space in a big way. And so we seized the opportunity.
Okay. And
that's how I ended up in payments.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a prepaid card for
it was for Rovio. It was a Angry Birds prepaid card. The idea was, our job was the sales and marketing. We had mascots through the subways. We had
great
balloons all over the place. We did a really, really great job of launching that product. The challenge with, prepaid and a GPR, like a general purpose reloadable, is you really have to give people a reason why they're going to swap out of their cards in their wallet for this. And I think that hadn't been fully thought through by, a very large group of people. And the card never really did that much, but I saw an opportunity to really seize this space.
Okay.
I saw an opportunity for alternative payments and ways to improve the way things are done through fintech, basically.
Yeah, and fintech is a perfect way to be able to disintermediate, the massive payments infrastructure that currently exists. We were kind of talking about that off camera earlier, and how they're in Canada here, you have your big players like Visa, MasterCard, Interact, and smaller, more nimble companies such as XTM can come forward and find a niche and really dominate that niche, and then respectively grow from that point on, right?
And you would know that from your PayPal background, right?
Yeah. Well, PayPal at the time was a bit more established. There was a lot of people and lots of revenue and pretty established. But PayPal started off as a small fledgling company at 1.2 and grew, and which is clearly what XTM's looking to do.
Yeah.
So maybe tell me a bit about the company, the product itself
Sure.
for XTM, and why someone would want to use your company.
Sure. So the company is comprised of a great board, very solid senior management, and a team of about 20 people who are, I believe, best in class in their field. So marketing, UX, UI,
Okay. Just for those people who don't know what UX and UI
sure.
is
User experience and user interface. So designers and people who understand how to design flows so that you have the best, customer experience and user experience, which we feel is a differentiator for us. The barrier of entry in our field is it's significant in terms of financial commitments. We pay huge fees to cover governance, to cover compliance, to make sure our issuing banks are on board and so on. So there's that barrier of entry. But besides that, I think the differentiator is our user experience.
Right.
It's very smooth, very clean. So XTM is a company that is comprised of those people. What we do is we run payments, and we have legacy business that keeps the lights on, it generates very solid revenue, but our unicorn is the hospitality space. That's really where we've got our vision.
So I was doing a bit of research about the company, but Tips Today is your key product.
It is.
Right? Why don't you elaborate a bit about that and
Sure.
What does that look like for the end user?
Yeah. Well, when you look at an economy and a demographic, especially millennials who don't use cash for anything, tap and go wherever they are, it seemed to us that the last bastion of a vertical that was still using cash, not the patrons, but the actual restaurant operations using cash to pay out servers, we thought, here's a real opportunity. Let's investigate this. And we brought on someone from the restaurant space who really understood operations. He was he is a chef. He also I'm stumbling here. He also established syndicated restaurants across North America.
Series of them.
Understood operations really well. He said, Marilyn, it's a nightmare. And they call them dewbacks. So everyone's paying with Visa or MasterCard. End of the night, you owe, call it $10,000 in gratuities. How are you going to pay out your staff? You go to the bank, pull out $10,000 in cash, stuff it in envelopes, and hand it to your servers.
Which essentially means you're at risk for theft. You could get
Huge
robbed
risk.
and all of this other stuff. And yeah, it's a nightmare because certain individuals, I suspect, might have left for the day, so you have to hang on to the cash for the night, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And he talks about stuffing envelopes and then reconciling it with receipts, and it's so we came up with a solution that completely eliminates any friction for that cycle.
Okay.
The servers get an app and a prepaid card that talk to each other. And all gratuities are loaded instantly at the end of every shift via our portal and our digital payment system.
Okay. So the user, i.e. the company, restaurant, will just effectively credit the account for a certain amount.
Yep.
And then, of course, the money is already being collected from the actual restaurant, the person that ate the food.
Yeah.
And then you just reconcile. That's awesome.
It's and instantly everyone gets their tips at exactly the same time.
Right.
Bing, bing, bing.
And you probably have ways of being able to split that out so that the server and the
back of the house.
The back of the house and all of this other stuff.
We integrate with tip pooling. We also can integrate with point of sales. Interesting, we launched this product in about November of last year. And I think it takes a little bit of time for everyone to trust each other. But I see that as the next migration. As we get more and more, ingrained into the restaurant culture, they're going to want to integrate us with their point of sale. But it's still a bit of a real hands-on, I don't want to call it antiquated because it's kind of beautiful, but the process of the way a restaurant is run. And there's a lot of human intervention where they'll look at a receipt, they might give someone a little bit extra because of their night and so on. So there's still that touch point, heavy touch point that the operations have. But I think there will be a time where it'll be completely automated.
So at this point, so how are you just in Toronto, or are you in multiple jurisdictions?
We're across Canada.
Okay,
our product is working across Canada. We are launching in the U.S. in about 60 days.
Okay.
We've got a number of hotels and also restaurants that are waiting for us to be operational. And it's complex in some ways because you need banks and processors and all those kinds of things in each jurisdiction.
But you'll take care of all of that stuff. And so,
it's done.
As you mentioned, from the UI, it's sort of user experience standpoint, it's very fluid.
Yeah.
Let me just halt there. And you mentioned a prepaid card.
Yeah.
So that's physically someone that is, I guess, XTM issues a card, and it has to be attached to a bank, I suspect, right?
It does, yeah.
And is it on the MasterCard network? Or?
It is.
Okay, so in other words, someone can then take that card, just walk to an ATM, and essentially withdraw cash, right?
They can.
Oh, wow.
They can. We hope they don't.
Oh,
but they
well,
can, and they do. So our data shows that for the first couple of months, while people get used to, this process because they're used to having cash, they do that, and so we've worked on a surcharge-free network and ATM network and all that kind of thing to make it a frictionless experience for them. But as they start using it, they realize this is a free mobile bank account. I can pay bills. We have bill pay on the app.
Okay.
We have card-to-card transfer.
That's great.
We have all kinds of features that you would get with a bank account, and it's free. Free for the restaurant and near free for the user. The only thing we charge the user for is what we're charged for. So Interactive transfer and a couple little transactions.
Okay. So,
and then what we found, our data shows, is that then the server relaxes and says, well, this is really great. I love this. And I'm actually able to save money. And I'm, there's a maturity factor in there too, where it's not just a wad of cash that gets blown between home and, the restaurant and home,
right.
At a bar or, it's kind of like, okay, I need to pay rent on Monday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a couple of extra shifts this weekend and I'll have rent money by Monday.
Right.
And so there's a real, revolution going on in the psyche of a server, and the restaurants love it because it's a much more serious proposition.
So I suspect that all of the users, the servers, have actually registered and download an app.
They do. All we ask for from them, sorry to interrupt you, Phil, the only thing we ask for is their first and last name and mobile number. That's how we anchor the data. We don't ask for SIN. No, we don't even ask for address. The only reason they would input their address in the app is if they want to purchase online, and they need that validation.
Okay. And now that you have this data conceptually with, call it 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000, as you continue to grow your user base, would you choose to monetize that data at some point?
You know what? That's a real possibility, and something that we certainly have on our roadmap. As obviously we're compliant with all, privacy rules and so on, but there's trending that is really valuable that we can assess through the data, and that is definitely something that we would look at.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're going out to the U.S. and stuff like that. And are you? How are you doing that? Are you starting with certain states or certain restaurants and and expand?
We are. Yeah, we are. I can't name the restaurant right now, but Florida, Miami specifically, is an area where
that must make for great trips for you to get down there during this time of year.
Well, yeah. Well, I won't put down any provinces, but it's nice to be in the heat. But Miami is an area where there's a lot of new immigrants working in the hospitality sector, and some of them don't have bank accounts yet.
Makes sense.
And this solves a whole bunch of problems for those organizations, and they really love it.
Right.
Or have been waiting.
Okay, and so if you start looking at the immigrant aspect, there's also obviously other areas and that you can start to look at, I suspect, like the whole remittance facet in terms of Western Union and trying to disintermediate those types of things. Those are probably on your roadmap as well.
They are. We've been working with a bank, just a beautiful group of people out of Jamaica. We've actually helped them build an app, and we're working through an easy way for expats to send their money from Canada to Jamaica, and then opening up other avenues for them. That's an example of some of the work that we've done. I would say 80% of our focus is on hospitality, but certainly there's, the travel sector is generating some very good revenue for us.
That is awesome. That is a really, really good story. So in terms of the kind of next steps for you as, as an organization and stuff like that. So U.S. is the next thing, but then are you looking elsewhere at this point, or are you just going to focus mostly on the U.S.? And
Europe is a very interesting place for us. They've got a lot of there's a lot of their buying, their digital trending is similar to Canada, and we know that space really well. So we're definitely looking at the UK and other areas like that. And we're going to do it right. We're going to have controlled growth. We're going to do it right. Mm-hmm. We're going to flesh out our management team. Mm-hmm. We've brought on an operations person that is just fantastic. Actually, he is a chef, Michelin 2-star chef.
Oh, wow.
And then did his MBA at Ivy, and he's joined us, understands the back of the house, understands our modeling. And so we feel very confident about our infrastructure, our management team, and now rolling it out to dominate. As one of our restaurant owners said, as he announced to his 500 plus staff that he was converting to our product, he said, my prediction is by this time next year, the entire GTA will be using this product.
No one else does this in Canada, do they?
I think there's others that are trying it, and they there's always copycats.
Right, sure.
We were, I think, the first among the first.
I haven't heard of anything yet in this space. Yeah.
I think we're dominating the space right now, but competitors. That's fine. I've never been in a business where you don't have competitors. So
well, it's actually a good thing. It helps grow the potential market.
It's true.
Yes, you are competing, but you're bringing more attention to the space.
Yeah.
And frankly, they're validating your business model too.
Exactly.
Right. So if you have more people, that's sometimes not a bad thing.
Exactly.
And so, tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school, type of thing? And
so born in Toronto, grew up in Toronto.
Downtown,
yeah,
Mississauga?
I Toronto, then Mississauga,
okay,
and then back to Toronto when I was in school and going to university. And I really was. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I did my associateship with the Royal Conservatory for piano. I taught music since the time I was probably 13 years old, and really wanted a career in music. Quickly realized that I was not going to make enough money there. So.
Okay. So if you were at the conservatory, they have different levels, mm-hmm. right? And what level did you get to?
I went to the top. I got my associateship.
Is that that's above grade 12, or?
Yeah, it's the final. Yeah, it's the final phase.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that's done that. That's amazing.
I love music.
Okay.
I absolutely love music.
So you're gonna play at our CSE Christmas party then. We'll get a baby grand for you.
Yeah.
But on that note, I want to, once again, thank you for your time today. We are extremely excited to work with you. We are extremely happy that you've selected the CSE, and best of luck certainly moving forward for your business, and certainly we're always available to help as needed. But how do investors keep abreast of your company?
Thank you, Phil. And just before I answer that question, I want to say that the CSE is a really good fit for entrepreneurs. We've just been treated so beautifully, and it's a stressful process, mm-hmm. but it's been just really, really great. No regrets. And to keep in touch with us, so we will be very actively communicating with the public and shareholders. We've got 2 social channels, LinkedIn and Instagram. We regularly update our newsfeed on our site. And with a background in communications, I realize how important it is that everyone understands, that we do what we say we're going to do, and then how we did. So that's going to be a very active role for me.
Okay. 2 final questions. What is your website, and what does XTM actually refer to?
Okay, excellent question. Website is XTM Inc, inc.com. And because we've had a number of iterations, at some point it stood for, trademarked experiences, because we had a heavy involvement in UI and UX. And then as we converted and migrated to the payment space, we said, hey, it could stand for transfer the money.
Oh.
So we move money, we transfer money. That's what XTM stands for.
Okay. All right. I like that. Well, thanks again. Appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you in the future. Once again, it's Phillip here from the CSE at the CSE Media Center at the top of the First Canadian Place. Thanks a lot.